This is actually the 7th time he's appeared here, which tells you that this is the beginning of his 7th year as head coach. But Joey Christian, of course, is a native of Gainesville. He's played football and graduated from Volunteer High School. Went on to ETSU, played football, and graduated with a BA degree in marketing. Then got a master's in teacher education. And then later actually got an EDS from LNU, so he's well educated. But started his coaching career at Volunteer and offensive line, offensive coordinator, and did that for about 6 years. And DB was fortunate enough to get him. Graham recruited him. He coached the line and offensive coordinator for a long time, about 14 years or so before he became head coach. You may know one of his great graduates in the lineman was Daniel Kilgore, played in the pros for 11 years. And he's just one of many good linemen that came out during that time period. But this is the start of his 7th season. He's twice won the Big East Coach of the Year, or Regional Coach of the Year. And of course, DB was champ for the Big East 2 times, runner-up another time, been in the playoffs 4 years. So a lot of great things with Coach Christian and the team. And I'm going to let him speak, and he's going to introduce these 5 seniors that they brought with him, which we're happy to have. Coach Christian.
All right, I'll try not to preach. I don't know why I have a microphone. I usually don't need a microphone, but I'll take the microphone. Anyway, hey, it's always great to be here. I always look forward to this. Look forward to seeing y'all, all the guests. I know they're all here because y'all heard I was speaking. I'm guessing. Hey, I got the mic. You don't. That's the reason then, okay? How many of y'all, can I get out in front? It won't. Okay. How many of y'all have been watching the Olympics? Everybody like the Olympics? That's fun? Everybody likes that, I think. I'm not sure if I like that. You know, there's parts of me, there's some of those sports that I go, you know, that's good. I like that. And then there's some of those sports that I go, is that a sport? You know? You know, not like that George Carlin, that old bit that he had about sports, but like there's some of those things, you know, as a football coach and as, you know, growing up playing baseball, basketball, just all the sports and everything, I always think like, you know, like track, now that's a sport. We're going to get everybody down. They're going to start on the same line. We're going to put a gun in the air. We're going to shoot it. And ever who gets to this other line first wins. The second one will be second. You know, and okay, that makes sense to me. I can do that. We're going to, you know, swimming. We're going to jump in the pool. We're going to go touch that wall, come back. First one that touches this wall wins. Yeah, I like that. I like that. There's a winner, there's a loser. But I like some of that. Like if you told me, you said, well, gymnastics, what about that as a sport? Then I go, well, I don't know. Is it like, you know, now I'm in awe of the athleticism. Like there's no doubt the explosiveness, the athleticism that like Simone Biles and those young ladies have. But like, you know, like I was watching it one day. My wife had it on, and I don't get home till do what? That's right. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, my wife, she had it on, and so we were watching it there for a second, and they's like, well, you know, they're gonna take off points. She didn't have her hands square on that horse, or whatever that thing's called. As she went across it, and I was going, who could tell? Like Simone Biles, she's running like a 4 or 5 down through there, you know, and hitting that springboard and going like the human eye couldn't tell that. And I said, oh yeah, they're going to deduct 0.3 of a point for that. No, you can't. That can't be a sport. If that like somebody from Russia could figure that out or something or another, you know. Oh, just didn't have her hands right, no doubt about it. So I like the sports where there's a winner, there's a loser, it's determined, like football. I mean, that's what I like. At the end of, for us, it's 48 minutes. I'm going to try not to preach like I did last year. I'm going to try not to get emotional like I did last year, but I probably will both. Last week I heard y'all had Trey Lamb talking to you, did you? What about Coach Lamb? What knowledge did he bring? I'm excited about him and his leadership at ETSU football. That's something that's very Means a lot to me. You know, you put a little blood and a little sweat into something, it kind of means something to you. Kind of like that Cody Johnson song, "Buy Dirt." You know, you're not gonna, it got a little mean something to you. But what did he talk about? What did he talk about? The changing of NCAA, how different it is, and things like that. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna talk about the same stuff. That TSSAA, high school athletics is different. And then you say, well, Joey, is it different this year than it was last year? Yes. Is it different this year than it was 30 years ago? Yes. Yes. But it's different than it was last year. It's different than it was 2 years ago. You know, so it's oh, Daryl, I've dropped your schedule there. So, you know, I'll get to some of those as we go along. And everything. So, like, first of all, I want to start out with the good. I want to start out with the good at Dobyns Bennett. I want to start out with the good in our program, things like that. I said this last year, you know, it's not about the X's and O's. Football's not about the X's and O's. Nick Saban had a famous saying that I was in awe of when he said it, but it's not, this is not one that got put out on the news media a whole lot. They asked him why he left the NFL game and went back to the college game. And does anybody know why he said he did? See, it didn't get a lot of publicity. He said he went back to the college game because in the pros, the NFL is built on a model of parity. If you're the worst team in the league, you get the first draft pick. If you're the best team in the league, you get the last draft pick. So the whole model is to, if you're bad, you got a chance to get good. If you're good, they want you to get bad. And they want it to be parity. And he said, when I go to the University of Alabama, if I show up on a Saturday and my players aren't better than the other team's players, that's my fault. Because I get to recruit my kids. He said, I don't want it to be equal. He said, that's the last thing I want it to do is to be equal talent on Saturday. I want to show up with the 3 fastest receivers, the best quarterback, the biggest offensive line, the strongest offensive line. He said, we're going to win. We're going to win. Well, I feel the exact same way. If we got better players, there's a really, really, really good chance that we're going to win. You know, and unfortunately, if we have worse players, then there's like a really, really good chance that we may not win on that given Friday night. But coaching, you know, is about relationships. And I believe that. It's one of the things that we can close that gap on is relationships. And last year I talked about it's so important. It's so important for our coaches to build relationships with these guys so that they know that they're loved, so that they know that we care, but so that so that they will put extra into the program so that, you know, when times are hard, when we're down, when, I don't know, whatever's going on, that we'll fight, we'll claw through because we've all made it a team so that some adult who cares about these kids have poured themselves into the kid to so that they understand, how important it is and what it is. So last year I said we only had 3. At Dobyns Bennett, we only had 3 coaches, full-time teacher coaches on staff at Dobyns Bennett. 3. Like, this year we have 7. All right, so we have 7. Dr. Tate, Dr. Hampton have made a concerted effort to help us out there. We have 7 full-time coaches. So now I see, and I'm sure these guys would say, as you go through the hall, you see Coach Jones, you see Coach Everett, you see Coach Barton, some of our new coaches in the hall. When you got coaches who are coming from other schools, might not even be there when practice starts. We have to alter our practice because we got coaches coming from other schools and they can't be there when practice starts. Because I always tell these guys, I want to be their time is valuable, and I want to honor their time, but I expect them to honor my time as well. So the fact that we have 7 coaches now instead of 3, that will provide benefit to our program. I believe that because as coaches, listen, we're not only coaching them, we're going picking them up. Coach, I can't get to practice. I'll go pick you up. Coach, I don't have a way home. I'll take you home. Okay, that's what me and that's what my assistant coaches do. And that's just part of it. I'm not tooting anybody's horn on that. Second thing I want to say is good is our team GPA. We got the highest team GPA we've had in my 7 years. It's really impressive. The grades that we have overall with our team GPA is so good. Very impressed with that. And so you guys should be proud of that. But we're on our team. We're turning out guys that are ready for a 4-year college or university, but we're also turning guys out that are certainly are ready for a TCAT or a 2-year program or even workforce ready when they leave Dobyns Bennett High School. That's what we want. If we want these kids to hopefully return to Kingsport, hopefully be contributors to the community, and help the community grow. Another thing that's helped Dobyns Bennett out, a good thing is last year and for the last many years before, Kingsport had the highest tuition rate of any school I knew. Like, it was crazy. Like, if you didn't live in Kingsport, you wanted to send your kid to Kingsport City Schools, it was ridiculous. So, but the Board of Education lowered that. It's $1,000 now. If you live in Tennessee and don't live in Kingsport, then it's $1,000. That's going to pay dividends, I think, for football down the line, because there are people in some of our surrounding counties or even in Sullivan County that's outside the city of Kingsport footprint that they will eventually see, like, yeah, Johnny, you need to go there to school. That's where we're going to send you. Let's say a family, they do it off of 10 months. Say it was $3,500. If a family's going to have to pay $350 a month, that's a car payment. You're not going to do that. But now that it's $1,000, it's $100 a month. Most families can be like, yeah, we can absorb that. We can absorb that. We can do that. I think we'll see a lot of benefit of that. We need to. What we need to do is turn the tide from the people in Washington County, say that's in between, like gray area. We got to turn them from going to south to Johnson City, and we need to turn them going north back our way. Science Hill got Daniel Boone's best football player. He's the fastest football player. He's going to be one of the fastest football players on Science Hill's team. And I mean, it just is what it is. Maybe in a couple of years with our tuition being like that, maybe we could have turned him north instead of south. All right, so now get into some other things, some things we're working on, some things that we need to change, some things we need to do. There's no doubt, I think, in my 22 years at Dobyns Bennett, the demographics have changed. I think the city's changed. There's things that's happened. We used to sign. When I first got here, we used to sign 4 to 6 kids a year to seem like play college football. We have 6 kids total now playing college football, and one of them's playing his 6th year. He's been a 6-year starter at Richmond, so he's been there like a long time. Had a COVID year, you got a redshirt year. He's already got his undergrad, and I think he's going to graduate with his master's this year. So obviously that tells you a little something about where we are, but maybe Coach Lamb talked about it. They also don't recruit a lot of high school kids as much now either. High school kids don't get recruited like they used to. We have I think when you look at in Kingsport some things that has to be done, Mayor, some things that I'm going to talk to you about is that I think that you look at the city, down I-26 from us there, when about a little over a year ago, and they spent a little over $200,000 to invest in their youth league. Now, and I know that's money, and I know times are tight and all that. I get it. It is everywhere. But last year, after they did that, Johnson City had 315 kids played in their youth league. That's ages 6 through 11. In Kingsport, 5 through 12, we're talking about 2 more ages here now. We only had 105. That's a 200% more kids playing. That's something positive. I think we would all say that kids playing sports, kids doing this at youth, being involved in things like that is something positive. That they have 200 more kids doing it. We don't. We don't. So what does those kids do after school? Well, I mean, when you're 6, I don't know. When you're 12, you get in trouble. You get in trouble. Most kids, most adolescent crimes happen between 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock. That's just the facts of our society. Most adolescent crimes are done between 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock. Well, if you play football, I can take up a lot of that time, okay? I can almost get you to 8 o'clock every day. So, we've got to find a way to get kids involved. We've got to find a way to get them involved early. And like a $200,000 investment that Johnson City made seems small to the to the benefit that it provides, and hopefully it's not going to provide to them, but I know it is. I know in the future it's just going to mean more and more. I have a thing this year to these guys that I've been saying all the time, about every day: winning habits, losing habits. What are we doing? Did I say that? Winning traits, losing traits. What are we doing? It's what we're doing at the moment. Is this a winning trait? Is this going to allow me to win? Not just football games, not just Friday night football games, but it's, is it going to allow me to win at life? Am I going to be successful at life? If I pout when I don't get my way, is my boss what's the chances I'm going to get the next pay raise? What's the chance I'm going to get a promotion if when I don't get my way, I sulk and put my bottom lip up and pout? You're not. You're not. Which is what we're trying to teach these guys. So I try to tell them all the time, this is a winning habit. This is a winning trait. This is a losing trait. Point out the losing traits. There's no doubt. I told them I was going to say it, so I ain't afraid to say it. I tell these guys all the time, listen, boys sports at Dobyns Bennett, we're in a little bit of a bad way right now. I thought last year, I didn't do a good enough job as a coach. We went 5-5, had one no contest. That's unacceptable to me. It's unacceptable to what I think. It's unacceptable to the standard that I have for myself or for our program. And I apologize for it. But I know, Coach Poore won a state championship. Is there anybody here that thinks that Chris Poore doesn't do a good job? That's what I thought, because he does a phenomenal job. Coach Reed and Coach Baker and Coach Scales, and they finished 4th in a 14 conference last year. That had Boone and Westridge in it. Like we're kind of behind the 8 ball here a little bit. Coach Wagner does an unbelievable job with our baseball team. He finished 3rd in the state in 2017. And then in 2018, he didn't make it to the region tournament. He hadn't made it to the region tournament since. He obviously did a very good job in 2017. He's still coaching. He's still doing the same things. He's still, there's some things that have changed, but it wasn't the coaches. It wasn't the schemes. It wasn't the culture. It wasn't those things. Those are things that needs to change. There's some things we can do about it, but there's some things that we, quite honestly can't do about it. I've got on here NIL. Did Coach Lamb talk about NIL? What did he say about that? Do they have NIL? Not much. Like $30,000. Did he give a number? Oh, okay. Then I didn't say that. There is no number then. Yes. Let me tell you this. Now, you think that NIL is not a thing? I bet. How many of y'all are UT fans? Got most of y'all are UT fans. What's the guy from Bradley Central? He's probably starting at corner like Boo Carter or Boo something. Boo Carter. Boo Carter last year at Bradley Central High School made $25,000 in NIL money. Now, he went to Chattanooga Christian as a junior. And then Bradley Central said, hey, we got $25,000 if you'll come to Bradley Central and play for us. Well, wait a minute. You're going to offer a high school kid $25,000? Yes, sir. I'll be right there. You know, you're going to offer me $25,000. Yes, sir. I'll be right there. Hold on. The big post player for Bradley Central in basketball, the girls, she was the MVP of the state tournament as a freshman. She won MVP this past year, right? She won MVP of the state basketball tournament this past year when our girls made it. And she only gets $20,000 a year. She's from North Georgia. And so when she was in 8th grade, Bradley Central went down and said, hey, we'll give you $20,000 a year if you'll drive up through Chattanooga over the hill there and to Bradley Central. 2 state championships they've won in girls basketball. Okay. So NIL is here. Alcoa, when the state legislature, the General Assembly passed the law or allowed it to happen, Alcoa had $12,000 the next day. I know that for a fact. And they were making phone calls in Knoxville. Hey, you come to Alcoa, $2,000 was what they started offering kids. If you'll leave Farragut High School and you'll come to Alcoa, we'll give you $2,000 a year. So, okay. You want me to give you Dobyns Bennett's NIL money number? Yeah, we got 0. We got 0. And that's the way I think it should be. Now, if we're talking about what Joey Christian thinks, I think it should be 0. I don't think that's right. I'm always wanting to, Dobyns Bennett football means a lot to me, obviously, and so I'm always trying to figure out, well, how do they do it in other places? How does successful and not X's and O's? Listen, what we do X's and O's wise is as good. And I know it probably, Mr. Adamson, it's probably you up there on a 50-yard line, row 5, right? So what we do X's and O's wise is good. So I went and said, well, I want to study some successful programs in Georgia. I went down and I visited with coaches from 5 programs in Georgia. And I came back and Coach DeBusk, he said, well, what did you learn anything? And I was like, yeah. And he said, well, what's the difference? And I said, I couldn't find any similarities. The differences, it was all differences. And now, because I went down and I told these 5 schools, and I went to a rural 2A school, and I went to the biggest school in the state. I went to Will's old school, Brookwood High School. So I went to a few different schools, and I came back, and so Frankie asked me. I said, "Man, it's not even the same game. What they do and what we do, how the programs are done." I said, "It's true. I said it's just not. It's not happening." One of the schools I went to was in Gainesville. Not Gainesville, Flowery Branch, right beside Gainesville. Was in Flowery Branch, and Coach asked me, he said, "You got a good booster club?" I said, "We got a great booster club. Got a great booster club, man." And he was like, "Really?" He said, "How much your booster club make?" I said, "Our booster club does. I mean, they do great. They really do a good job." And I told him roughly what they make. And he said, "Really?" And I said, "Well, how much does your boosters club make? How much does your booster club raise?" He said, 3. I said, 3. 3 what? He said, 300,000. I said, 300,000? Like a year? He said, yeah. I said, oh, no, golly, no, we're not. No, that's not us. And then he was like, it was this old coach too. And I would ask him, and he was like, he asked me some things, and he would ask me, well, now, do you do this right here? And I'd say, no. And he said, you need to quit. He said, that's not, I said, well, listen, North Atlanta and Kingsport, Tennessee is way different. Now, I get it. Then there's a whole lot there. So there's things that we could do that could be done to help out. You know, I said this last year. I truly believe that football's like it's a last chance in our society. It's our last hope, really, of what can we do for kids? I think, you know, what's it when times are tough? You know, as Bear Bryant used to say, it wasn't going to be tough till you come home and your wife left you for your best friend and you just lost your job and the kids were hungry and needed to be fed. That's when life's tough. You know, I think football and wrestling, you know, we do that. We don't ask for that judge. I don't know about that judge. I couldn't imagine doing something and then just waiting. Oh, I hope the judge likes me. Oh, I hope that I smiled big enough or something like that. You know, I hope I wouldn't want to. I'd hate a judge to have to tell if I was successful or not. You know, especially in today's world. You know, I'm going to skip over that. I'll get myself in trouble. So, you know, so anyway, I'll tell you what I have done, what I have seen really good out of these guys right here and our team as a whole really is leadership. I think our leadership is really coming. These 5 guys right here, most of the time are very good leaders. They really show, and leadership's not just verbally, you know, leadership's example, leadership's so many things. And so, you know, we try to teach them that. We're seeing parts of that. We're seeing that happen a lot. I think that's going to be good for our program. I know it's going to be good for our program. You know, but leadership, now, like most of you guys have been successful in business or, you know, you've been successful at other places in city leadership. I know, Lord, we got the whole city leadership here and everything. But, you know, leadership's hard. Right, Chris? I mean, leadership's hard. Leadership's very hard. And these guys right here, when you're young, it's extremely hard. And no offense, but when y'all went to your one-room school, all right, it's really different. It's really different now. All right? It's really different now because these guys are on this thing right here all the time. These guys are on this thing right here, and they want somebody to say, hey, I like that. You know? Click that heart. I like that TikTok video. Boy, you sure can dance good. Boy, that looked good. You're right. You know, click that thumbs up. That's good. They like that instant gratification. Is what it's called, right? For these guys. They want that. Well, if you're in that position of leadership, you're probably going to say something that somebody's not going to like. That somebody's not going to click that thumbs up. That somebody's not going to click that heart. Because you said what? Well, you're a butthole. You told me to do what? No, that ain't right. Leadership's hard. Leadership's hard for all y'all. Leadership's hard for us. But it's really hard for these guys. Now, I don't want to piss off all you Vol fans here, but Kirby Smart, all right? Go Dogs, all right. It's the preacher. It's the same guy that mentioned virgins, and he lost these guys. When he said something about virgins, and then he said football, these guys were going over here. But anyway, Kirby Smart said this right here, cost of leadership. All right, have you ever heard this? You'll love this. Because I want to, like I said, once again, think back to when you're leadership of a church, when you think about when you're a leader of an organization, the city, you own your own business or things like that. The cost of leadership, there's 3 costs to leadership. Number 1, Harshberger, you got to think of this as you do this, all right? You have to make hard decisions that will negatively affect people that you care about. Holy crap. What? You have to make decisions that will negatively affect people that you care about. That's hard. Can you imagine how hard it is when you're 17 years old? I mean, it's hard as a 53-year-old. It's going to be real hard, right, Mayor? Mayor-elect? Is that what it would be? Parents, if you're a parent, you understand that. Sometimes you have to make decisions and you say, they're not going to like this. This is going to negatively affect you, but this is the decision that needs to be made. And when you're in that world of instant gratification, that's what it is. Kirby Smart's second cost of leadership is you will be disliked despite your best attempts to do the best for the most. You will be disliked despite your best attempts to do the best for the most. Does that sound? That sounds about right, don't it? But that's the cost of it. The third cost, he said, you will be misunderstood and you won't have the opportunity to defend yourself. When you're in leadership, right? You don't get to defend yourself. People just says, he's stupid. He don't know what he's doing. Why'd he call that play? Why'd we throw that ball? What are we doing there? Why? Run it up the middle, coach, over and over. It's all you do. Just run it up the middle. I mean, I'd like to have a one-on-one. Hey, okay, let's have a line on the 50-yard line after the game. Let's go down and we can settle it right here after the game if you will. But you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. I thought y'all would like that. A little bit about our team. Last year's team, we lost our leading tackler in school history. Hello, what? In modern day school history, which would be like from 70, I think it's 79 forward. So we lost our leading tackler in school history. We lost about 50% of our offensive yards. We lost the entire core of our defense, our 4 down linemen, our 2 linebackers. We got to replace them. That's a daunting task. It scares me to death. We only return about 36%, about a third of our rushing yards, and about 20% of our passing touchdowns. I mean, we're it's a redo. It's not a rebuild. It's a redo. But I like where we are. I like some of the things we're doing. I like how we've done it, and I really like these 5 guys right here. So let me introduce these guys to you. I'll tell you a little bit about them as we go. We'll start with the long-haired guy back there. He's never met a barber that he likes yet. His dad told me last week, he said, hey, what'd you think about Devin getting a haircut? I said, Devin got a haircut? He said, yeah. I said, well, he got cheated, obviously. Anyway, be one of our tight ends and one of our inside linebackers. So I believe we got a scrimmage tonight, and we got one next Thursday as well, which will be the determinant of that. But stand up right here. This is Devin Murdoch. All right, and the next guy right here. Now he's played for us. He's played off running back for 2 years. He's got a lot of playing time. Also switching him over. These 2 guys are probably going to split the tight end. Well, 3 of them will split the tight end position. He'll be the other inside linebacker. Has made a lot of plays for us in the last 2 years. His barber just does that much better of a job than the other one, though. So his name, this is Peyton Franklin right here. All right, next guy we got is our quarterback. Took over game 8 last year. Actually grew up in or went to Union High School. I guess grew up there somewhere, whatever that is. I can't make it past Gate City. That's about as far as my car will make right there. I don't know. Maybe I've been to Duffield once or something. But he's a Union kid. moved down. He's a super kid, and all these guys are good students in the classroom and everything. But our quarterback coming back, we're going to expect good things for him. He's going to allow us to have a little bit more of a running quarterback. If you saw us play at the end, we looked a whole lot different than we did at the beginning of the year. So we'll run him as a running quarterback, kind of create that extra gap. We feel like, or we know, that's going to be very advantageous to us. So this is Austin Sykes right here. I said a little bit about this little thing in my speech right here. So you know, his mom and dad are both DB grads. His granddad, was he a member of this organization? I don't know. Bill Ford. Was Bill Ford? No, okay, I don't know. But anyway, he worked for the city, had his own business, started, I think, the Ford system downtown. Grew up in Gwinnett County, Georgia, you know, kind of right there about perimeter Atlanta on the northeast side. But thank goodness they decided to come home. And I'm tickled to death that they did. But started every play at right guard. His sophomore year has been our center. Last year will be our center this year. Will Ford. And the last guy right here, if I really wanted to, I'd give him the mic and you would die laughing. I tell you, he's the funniest guy. He's the funniest kid. I swear, in my 20 years, he's one of the funniest kids that I've ever been around. But moved here from Cleveland, Ohio. Has been, so you see where we're going here too. Like 3 of them have moved in. They're not Kingsport grown. But moved here from Cleveland, Ohio. Started last year at wide receiver and cornerback for us. He'll do the same this year. He'll be inside instead of outside receiver. But this is Tyler Taylor. All right, I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much for everything. We always, first game is 2 weeks from today, right? Yep, 2 weeks from today. We usually have a couple of questions, or somebody wants to. I know now somebody didn't bring Mr. Taylor here, so he doesn't have one today. So go ahead.